Hey guys, what's up? It's the Black Avenger, Lee Sanders of the RCWR Show and Impact Showdown Radio, coming at you just an hour before WWE Raw comes on tonight, where it's the aftermath of Brock Lesnar, the Beast, destroying WWE Chairman Vincent Kennedy McMahon. How will Vince McMahon respond to this tonight? Or is it a case where the WWE Board of Directors will be responding in his place? We'll be covering full Fallout later tonight. So for you YouTube subscribers, you all are going to get first strike. As you know, we have the 30-minute post show of Raw that we upload on here. And we'll go more in depth about key points from tonight's episode of Raw on the Tuesday night edition of the RCWR Show, which you'll be able to check out at 11 p.m. Eastern with new co-host Diamond K, former PWR correspondent, co-host of Sudden Impact Radio. Alright, so we're making this video as breaking news. It has just been spreading like wildfire throughout the day. Even ESPN had picked up this news story. 77-year-old WWF legend, the great Bruno Sammartino, will be taking his rightful place into this year's WWE Hall of Fame. I repeat, WWF Hall of Famer legend Bruno Sammartino will be taking his rightful place as he will be inducted into the 2013 WWE Hall of Fame. Of course, Bruno Sammartino is no stranger. I mean, I can remember when I was a young kid, as well as many of my other friends, we used to grow up hearing the stories of Bruno Sammartino. It's one of those type of things that I continue to hear about to this very day, as friends, associates, co-workers that find out that I happen to cover the sport of wrestling, they always say to me, especially the older ones, they always say to me, well, you know, I remember a time when wrestling used to really kick ass. I remember guys like Bruno Sammartino, the Nature Boy, Buddy Rogers, Ernie Cat. I mean, they would just be throwing names all out there. And, you know, for me to hear this, I think it's about damn time that this has gone down. Of course, we have been hearing the rumblings for so many years about Bruno Sammartino being inducted into the Hall of Fame. Of course, one of the things that we heard about was Bruno Sammartino not wanting to have anything to do with Vince McMahon Jr. And I can only imagine what stipulations went in place to be able to secure Bruno Sammartino to appear at the Hall of Fame induction ceremony this year. Of course, fans had been saying for years, well, if Bruno Sammartino isn't going to accept the induction, why not have somebody go in his place to accept the award, just like they do at the Academy Awards? But, you know, I just don't think that would have done justice, quite honestly. And, of course, you know, there is still that bad blood there between Sammartino, McMahon Jr., Sammartino feeling as though he didn't get the proper just respect. Not to mention there was a ton of money that he felt he was kind of cheated out of from over the years, as the company has been able to continue to make a profit off of him. And you know, one of the people that is at the brainstorm of all this, at the center of making all this happen, is none other than Vice President of Talent Relations, Triple H. Triple H has been at the helm, making his maneuvers during this whole negotiations, and this just says a lot to how much stroke Triple H has said. Now, I want to pull up an article for you guys, and we actually had reported this on our website over at InfinityOneProductions.com just a couple of minutes ago. I want to pull this up as WWE, they have first broke this announcement out on their website earlier today. Now, Bruno Sammartino, he is quoted saying that Triple H contacted me and started telling me all the things that had changed and everything that was going on with WWE. I started watching it after talking to him, and when I saw it, I was very impressed. Now, Bruno Sammartino, he has this to say: about the Hall of Fame induction, just the whole Hall of Fame period being complete now that Bruno Sammartino is in it. Just talking about it's not a Hall of Fame without Sammartino in it. Triple H is quoted saying, "I love the history of this business. Without the history, there is no tomorrow. To look back on the history of WWE, one of the most important figures in the long story of where this all came from wasn't recognized, and that was Bruno." And of course, Bruno, he comes from a small mountain town in Italy. He immigrated to Pittsburgh all at the age of 15, started getting into weightlifting, broke world records in weightlifting as a teenager, and he was noticed by Vince McMahon Sr., who had encouraged him to continue to be a professional athlete in wrestling. And of course, Sammartino made a overnight sensation in May 17, 1963, when he defeated original Nature Boy Buddy Rogers at the old Madison Square Garden to become the second WWF champion. Of course, he would go on to hold that title for an unprecedented 8 years before dropping the belt. Man, you know, you talk about a long streak that he has had as the WWF champion, a record that cannot be broken still to this very day, probably will never be broken from here on out, quite honestly. But you know, I think that this is a long time coming. It's a great moment for wrestling fans, true hardcore wrestling fans, especially for our parents. Definitely if you are a wrestling fanatic and you've watched your hours and hours worth of wrestling, you know how big, how significant this name is. You know, when Bruno was a champion during his time, you know, we still had a lot of segregation going on. We still had that racism that was going out there. We still had a little bit of that sexism as far as women having equal rights and all that. And, you know, you just think about that time. It's kind of hard to picture now, but just pretend what was all going on, knowing those circumstances. And you've probably heard some of the stories that have happened during that time from your parents or your grandparents, great-grandparents. And, you know, to have Bruno Sammartino as champion at that time, he was one of those type of guys that was able to bring everybody together, be it Russian, be it Italian, be it Jewish, be it white, be it black, women. I mean, he was able to just bring everybody together. He was a people's champion. And to be able to have the people in the palm of his hands for over a decade, talk about a lasting impact on the whole sport of professional wrestling. Truly a great honor that it is. And it's about damn time that we see Bruno Sammartino finally get his just due. I know that there is a lot that probably went down with this negotiating, but you know, it is definitely a very good start. And now this Hall of Fame does not look to be a joke. And for those of you that might have missed the current inductees, so far we've got Bruno Sammartino, Trish Stratus, Mick Foley. I'm quite sure we're going to be hearing a few more names that's going to be inducted to round it all off. I want to get you all's reactions to Bruno Sammartino being inducted into this year's Hall of Fame. Feel free to leave those comments, and we'll follow it up tomorrow night on the Tuesday night edition of the RCWR show, where I'll be joined by new co-host, the Diamond K, folks. He's going to be joining me from here on out every Tuesday and Thursday night. We're going to be talking all things WWE, TNA, wrestling-related news, and beyond. You'll be able to catch that at blogtalkradio.com/the RCWR show. Hey, if you end up backtracking and checking out some of the other great content that we have put up on our YouTube channel here, feel free to subscribe and also leave comments, as we do love hearing from you. But truly, very monumental day on this day of February 4th, 2013, as WWF legend Bruno Sammartino, the only longest reigning champion in the company's history, will be taking his rightful place in this year's Hall of Fame. Things have just picked up big time. Feel free to leave those comments below, and thank you so much for checking out this video. As always, I am the one and only, the Black Avenger, Lee Sanders. We will see you Tuesday night at 11 p.m. Eastern for the RCWR Show Tuesday Night Wrestling Report.